This is Arthur from ttmministry.com. Today I'm going to talk about stop giving. It's not biblical. Before I share teaching, let me make one thing clear. I'm not talking about emergency circumstances where you help someone who is through bad luck or having major problems and you help them back on their feet again. For example, house burns down, hurricane loss, floods, etc., etc. Let me go to scripture. 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 10. This is the Apostle Paul. He's saying in verse 10, "For even when we were with you, we commanded you this: if anyone will not work, neither shall he eat." Now, I would recommend you to read the previous few verses because it talks about the Apostle Paul is working, and next to that, he is having a ministry. He was providing for his own needs. And he says here in verse 10, if anyone will not work, neither shall he eat. We see that is a basic principle in the Bible. The basic teaching in the Bible is that all of humanity was created to work. Genesis. When God created heaven and earth, Adam was there working in the garden. We were created to work 6 days a week and 1 day a week rest. Basic principle. If we don't work, we don't eat. In other words, if we're not working, we will go hungry. If this is true, then this means that anyone who's not working cannot expect to have enough money to pay their bills. So does this mean the church should not help the poor? We see in the Bible that the church were helping the poor, but let us see who the church considers really to be poor. That's the difference. This passage is taken from 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 5 to 6 and 9 to 10. You can read that whole passage. It talks about widows and deacons. Let's read verse 5. Now, she who is really a widow and left alone, so she has nobody there to take care of her, trusts in God, has to be Christian, see, and continues in supplications and prayers night and day, needs to be a person of prayer. Verse 6, but she who lives in pleasure is dead while she lives. It really has to be sincere Christian. Verse 9, do not let the widow under 60 years, so the person who's considered for support has to be at least 60 years old, not younger, because if they're younger, they can work for themselves. Do not let the widow under 60 years old be taken into the number, and not unless she has been a wife of one man, meaning she has been married to one guy and not two or three. Verse 10, well reported for good works. She was brought up, children. She has lodged strangers. If she has washed the saints' feet, if she has relieved the afflicted, if she has diligently followed every good work. So she has been a good person. She's done a lot of good things. She was a servant in life. And now when she's older than 60 and she became a widow, she has financial problems, the church would consider them for support. Now we see here the Apostle Paul is giving advice to Timothy who the church should help. Who would be considered worthy of helping? Notice the following conditions. First, has to be alone, no family. Second, has to be a sincere Christian. Third, needs to be a praying person, intercessor. Fourth, needs to be at least 60 years old or older. Fifth, very active in doing volunteer work, not only now, but also in the past. A person, if they are not working, they should be doing volunteer work. So use the time that they have available in doing volunteer works instead of doing nothing. Those are the people, most of the time, what would happen is the widows would be supported. They will be helping the church with all kind of things that needed to be done. So people who are supported, they can do work, they can do volunteer work, and they can help the church, and they can help society wherever is necessary. So you see, the Apostle Paul would not just give money to everyone. It was only those who were known by the church and really needed help. And we just saw those points, those requirements. Why was the church so strict with whom they would give their money? You see, the problems with giving irresponsible or not giving biblical, it discourages working and it creates laziness. When people start getting money, what happens? They start doing nothing. They start watching TV. It discourages working because it's very easy to receive money and then not do anything. It creates laziness, and that's not good. They're going to start depending on the support. Number two, it creates a wrong mentality. They are thinking, it's my right to receive money because I'm poor and you are rich, so you have to give me money. That's totally wrong thinking. Every person has the possibility to get rich. We just have to learn to work hard, and God says He will provide and take care of our needs. Number three, stops people using their gifts. You see, when they're starting to become dependent on support, they're not going to develop their own gifts. They're not going to contribute to society because they don't have to. They're not forced to. So it means that the persons won't develop themselves. Number four, it also stops the growth of the country. You see, if the people don't work on their gifts and talents and don't contribute to society, it doesn't help the country. So it's not good for the country either. Number five, it also demolishes self confidence. You see, if people are not continuously working on improving themselves and contributing to society, their self confidence are getting broken down. And that means it doesn't help them in their daily lives, and they eventually will totally get depressed. It is working and doing things for society and being a blessing to society that's going to build us up and build up our self confidence. So, by receiving just money, uh, will damage our self confidence and our trust in ourselves and our own ability. So, you see, I've been a missionary now for a while, and lots of people are giving to charity churches, but the real people who need it, they're not getting it. Why? Because the money, the people in churches are not giving biblical. They just give it to whoever is making the most noise. And those are not the people that will be considered for support. The money has been given, it's been given to the wrong places. Check your charity where you are supporting. Most likely 70 to 80% goes to salaries, marketing, etc. And if you're lucky, about 30 to 20% goes to the purpose of giving. However, most likely it's lower, maybe 10%. Often, the bigger the charity organization is, the most likely, the more costs and expenses they have on salaries and marketing and admin costs and building and all those things. Check your charity, check where you're giving your money, and see how much really goes to what you're giving for. Same thing, what I noticed in the third world country projects. Having worked now in a third world country for at least 30 years as a missionary, it's sad to say, but most Christian organizations and the pastor are corrupt. You're lucky if any of your donations ever reach destiny. If you would follow the above mentioned biblical requirements for giving, most likely no one would qualify. That's why we created TTM Ministry. Through this organization, we are working on setting up a basic structure where we aim to give at least 90%, and hopefully we can get to 100%. And maximum 10% will be used for admin costs. So the funds will be directed to where it needs to go. Also, any missionary or pastor or children that are supported through TTM Ministry has to follow strict guidelines and will be held accountable how they use their time and how they use the money. Time is very important because often it happens here, pastors are being supported, but if you check how much are they really working, you're lucky if they get to 20 hours a week. So that's why we check, we give them a schedule and time, and we check the time to work, we hold them accountable for that, and we hold them accountable with getting receipts on how they spend their money. You see, there is a problem with giving. I say stop giving, it's not biblical. Most of the money that's being given is not following a biblical principle. Lots of the money that's been given, maybe 80% is just gone waste into marketing expenses, buildings, salaries, and it's not going to where it should go. I just want to use this teaching to make you aware. Check out your charity, check where you're giving, make sure that they are at least give 70 to 80%, that at least 70 or 80% goes to what you destined it for. I hope this was helpful, and for comments and questions or suggestions, please contact me. I love to hear from you.